What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Young Legends podcast. I'm your host, Caption, aka Caption Red, and we have a very special guest today, Mr. Jonathan Mayo from an organization called Year Up. Jonathan Mayo is a director of corporate engagement for Year Up Greater Atlanta, a one-year intensive education and internship program for young adults aged 18 to 24. The mission of Year Up is to close the opportunity divide by providing young adults with the skills, experience, and support that will empower them to reach their potential through professional careers and higher education. In 2011, Jonathan received the prestigious White House Champions of Change Award for Fatherhood from President Barack Obama. He currently serves as the board member of the Apex Museum in Atlanta, steering committee member of the Atlanta Cares Mentoring Movement, and is the assistant coach for boys varsity basketball at North Springs High School. Jonathan is married with 2 daughters and believes that everything in life is a privilege. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's an honor to have you on the show, and I'm just really glad that you would join us. And by the way, what do you do over there at Year Up? What is your job exactly?
Well, essentially, I bring in millions of dollars.
Millions. Nice. Nice.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
That's is this like bank heisting? It sounds
No.
You just leave it at that. Nice.
It's providing corporations with entry-level and middle-skill talents to help them take care of their business needs.
Nice. That's amazing. In the millions, that's 7 figures. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Very cool. So I imagine that through your years of being at Year Up, you've seen a lot of things. You've had a lot of success stories throughout your time there. Is there one particular success story that you'd like to share?
Oh, definitely. One comes to mind based on, this is our 10th year here in Atlanta. We started Year Up in 2000 in Boston, and now we're in 24 sites across the country and 10 years here in Atlanta. And within the 10 years in Atlanta, we have our first alumni from the program that is actually managing a team of staff members that are responsible for almost $500,000 in revenue. She started out as a single mom with twins, and her why was so big about her life and what she wanted to accomplish. And she's been able to achieve that. Amazing accomplishment for us here in Atlanta to have the very first manager of a team of people. Pretty amazing. And that announcement was made about 3 months ago, and she's doing extremely well.
Wow. That's really cool. And coming from those humble beginnings, I imagine that she's probably a really good manager and everybody likes her because she understands the struggle.
Yes, that's very well put. She really does. And she meets people where they're at. And she has a servant leadership mantra that she puts forth. And it's just amazing to see that. And, when you have a servant leader, that's one of empowerment. And it's one of the strongest forms of leadership you can have. At least I believe you can have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody wants someone who's in charge that actually is looking out for them. Absolutely. So, Jonathan, first off, I want to say the mission of Year Up is amazing. I really like what y'all are doing, but there are many options out there as far as things that you can get into to better yourself. So why Year Up? Why should a young person come and see y'all over, let's say, going to college or any other options?
Well, I think what you said is paramount when we're looking at what we do. You said options, and Year Up is an option for young adults, as we consider that group of young adults that have not had opportunities. We know that in this country, talent is distributed equally or evenly, but opportunity is not. And so we know that these young adults, which are between the ages of 18 and 24, can take skills that they've developed here with us, experiences along with the support we provide them, to fulfill entry-level and middle-skilled jobs. Many of our young adults, these what we call opportunity youth, tend to come from zip codes where financially they're not stable enough to finish on with college unless they have scholarships, etc. They may not have the access to go on to school. And so we provide that hands-on training and development for them to be successful. But again, it depends on them. They have the right to self-determination as any human being does. But given an option to know that whatever you're doing means something and I can find a career that I can grow that's not limited based on me just having a job is powerful, where you can change the course of generations in the economics of your family by being given an opportunity. So Europe, this really helps facilitate that. Our mission is to close the opportunity divide by ensuring that young adults gain the skills, experience, and support that will empower them to reach their potential through careers in higher education. And we stand on that and we recruit on that theme, on that mission, because it's not an easy program to go through. For every 400 students that we serve throughout the year, we will have 3,000 applicants trying to get into the program. So it is a very competitive program to get into.
Yeah, absolutely. And just going back to what you said on changing someone's family history, you guys get really good Google reviews. I know that's not the end all be all of anything, but I've read multiple people say this is the best thing I've done. It's changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so to read that and to know that that's what y'all are up to is fantastic. It's very inspiring, and yeah, I respect it. So let's say a student gets chosen, an 18 to 24-year-old gets chosen to go to Europe. What does that look like for them within that year? You said it isn't easy. So what should they expect?
Well, they should definitely expect to be held to a high level of accountability. We have definite high expectations, and we also provide them with high support through this journey. They first start with us. They're with us for 21 weeks of what we call learning and development, or L&D, where they're learning hard skills and soft skills. So they're learning IT, project management, Excel, QA, software development using JavaScript for front end and Java programming for back end. They're learning cybersecurity. They're learning computerized accounting. So it is a fast track where they come into us from 8:30 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon in a series of classes to prepare them. We also have on the soft skill side business communications, where they will learn how to construct an email, how to give a pitch or presentation, also how to shake a hand, how to greet someone. Those are all of those soft skills. People usually get hired for hard skills, but fired for soft skills. And so we understand that that is a differentiator for our program in the marketplace. We hold them to that high accountability because of the feedback culture that we have. So we have formal feedback built into our program, meaning we don't say that you have weakness, you have a growth area, and then you have strength. And we do that in a formal manner every Friday as a learning community. And here in Atlanta, we have 5 learning communities that comprise of about 40 to 42 students in each. And each of them each cohort is actually going through a specific track of education and learning. But our program is high accountability. I mean, if you miss a meeting, or you're late, or miss an assignment, or you break a core values infraction, you receive an infraction that hits your stipend. So it hits your pocketbook a little bit there, in the wallet, and it's not a great feeling. But it really, we look to hold our students, our scholars, to a high level of accountability. So I think that that's what students can look forward to, is an opportunity to really bring what's in you out. And it's amazing to see that. I've been here 8 years, and this is the best work I've ever done my entire life.
Yeah, and that sounds really amazing. I like the real world aspect of it. It's like, hey, you're late. Okay, you're going to lose money because you were late, because that's what happens when you go to a job. You lose money. Speaking of money, y'all pay them through this program. Is that correct?
Yes, it's not a livable wage. It's a stipend to help support them with some of their basic needs throughout the program. We pay them to learn. And then sometimes our students, they'll come back and they'll say, I thought this was a scam, you're going to pay me to learn? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to do that because we believe in your potential. We believe in that taking this opportunity seriously, that you'll be wildly successful. And we really teach them to that not a handout, we give a leg up, and we require them to, hey, this is a mission. Be part of the mission to close the opportunity to divide. So, lift as you climb. I mean, it's really, really an important aspect of what really built, this country, and it was grit. It was giving back. It was supporting, and sometimes that's a challenge in today's society, but it's important for us to allow our young adults to understand in the millennial generation that you have what it takes for you to be successful. It is not predicated on your past. Your best days are always ahead of you, and it's about perspective. And I can go back to the ills of my life and the issues, but I'm resurrecting something that has already died. And so we say you can't go back to the land of familiar. You can if you choose to, but it's only regret there. So what do you want tomorrow to look like for you? And it starts today. So keeping that top of mind is always important. And we do a lot of that. It's a lot of tough love in this program, which I happen to love tough love. It's a character builder.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. You just dropped a million nuggets. There's just quotables left and right in there. I was just like, whoa, hold on. We're gonna make a bunch of positive memes. I guess is that still a meme? I don't know. But we're gonna make motivational posters out of all the things you just said. I'm just like, all right,
I'm
we'll
with
go
you,
to
man.
business.
I'm with you, man. Definitely.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And speaking of tough love and support, y'all actually have not just instructors, but you also have a mentorship program. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, we do have a formal mentoring program for our students. In that whole way, we provide high support. So for us as staff, we serve as coaches to a group of students. Like right now, I have 5 coachees, we call them, that are getting ready to go out on internship in about 3 weeks. When they go on an internship, we transition them for the next 26 weeks. They have, in addition to us as coaches, they have mentors. And these mentors are from corporations and retirees and government and all kinds of lines of work and business that will commit to being in this young adult's life for a year. And so that's the commitment of support that we provide. We do a mentoring mixer and a matching event. So we'll get a profile from a potential mentor and we match them based on the students and their profiles as well. So, and the matches, they go pretty well. It's a commitment on both ends though, because they're required to meet with them monthly and through texting and a lunch. And it develops into a strong relationship of guidance and direction. And it's powerful.
Yeah, I feel like a great mentor can make such a big difference in a person's life. I mean, I feel like that. I mean, as you have so many great things about the program, I feel like that's one of the best parts of it. Although the money's not bad either, and the hands-on, skills and the soft skills. There's just so much good stuff there. So tell us about that internship aspect or portion of it, because we heard a lot about the learning in the classroom, but what does the internship look like once that first 6 months is over?
Well, they earn an internship, first of all. Not everyone. We build in about 10% attrition. So you can zero out of the program. So I'll go back to that first 6 months. You start off with a number of points, and those points are deducted or added based on behaviors. So we don't terminate anyone from the program, they terminate themselves by the contract. And they earn their internship by the contract and their soft skills, their grades, etc. But what happens is they start on their internship once they earn it. We have a big announcement. It's like this NBA draft. It's ridiculous. It's awesome. And then, music is playing and the excitement is adrenaline is up and everyone's excited. And then we give them certificates. We give them hats here in Atlanta. So, my other sites, this is, Atlanta is kind of special with this. So, but we all give announcements across the country. But we do this in this style because it's a celebration. And we tell this year we're actually allowing students to bring one person who they would like to introduce to the program to see from an admission standpoint. Uh,
Mm.
and we also invite our partners based on the days that we have the announcements that they can attend, our partner leaders. And it's really, really, really a fun time. And then they go on to internship for 26 weeks, where they are responsible for doing what we call a weekly status report that goes over, based on SMART goals, the work that they're doing week to week. So it encapsulates the 26 weeks that they're on and allows them to really help develop their LinkedIn profile, their resumes, to prepare for transitioning into a career. Now, after, or usually during that time, we find out how many will be converted to full time or contractor. And so before graduation, we have at least 45 to 50% that may be placed at their internship. And the others go into what we call, for their positive outcome, the employment placement team, that within 4 months of graduation, they are working with them to place them into a livable wage career and or school. And we're just proud here in Atlanta to say that we have like a 97% rate of positive outcomes and success after the program.
Wow.
So
Okay.
it's huge. And I mean, when you have talented colleagues and people that you're around, it's like being on that championship team that looks to win and to support. And so we do that. We have meetings to talk about how we support each other's function and help for allowing and enabling our young adults to have that positive outcome. It's key to what we do. So the internship experience is important because they leave the nest of the program and they move on to greater heights, and they get to show their skills and their expertise in the marketplace. We have models where we are partnering up with the community colleges locally, and we will actually infuse our program into the community college structure. So we have community partners that we work with here and across the country on the community college level. And that has helped us scale and serve more young adults as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love the just everything, the partnerships that are happening. And one of the things I love about Year Up is you go to college, you're going to spend 4 years, 5 years nowadays. You're going to spend a lot of years just doing a lot of sitting in a classroom and not a whole lot of practical work. I mean, to some degree you do, but the fact that you get them ready within 6 months and then they're hands-on in 6 months and they're hands-on for that second half. And oftentimes in schools kids always ask that question, why are we learning this? But obviously you don't ask that question when you're on the job and you're actually doing the thing that's actually making a difference. So I think that's just fantastic.
Right. Oh, thank you.
So what have you seen with students that succeeded in the program? So the students that were successful in the program, what are some of the key things that you saw that they did that separated them from the ones that didn't succeed? And you
Mhm.
have a really high success rate. So,
Mhm.
but what are a couple, the common habits and practices that you see
Mhm.
that make a student successful?
Well, I think it's a combination of multiple things, but I think first is attitude. Your attitude always will equal your altitude. We tell them that all the time. Showing up on time. and not taking absences. Those are kind of the three things that will terminate a student from the program. But when you go beyond that, it's all about your ability and your aptitude to learn. So we teach them to take notes in any meeting. To this day, me being 25 years, almost 30 years in business, I always take something to write with to every meeting I go to. It shows that you value that person that's giving you information in their time. And so we do the same here around that. We teach them how to actively listen. So that's important on your internship. So we've seen those that have just totally relied on the process and trust the process of the program, even if they're dealing with outside stresses, which we all do. Us as professionals, sometimes we may just have maybe have the greater means financially to handle an outside stressor outside of sickness or some other areas that may hit us. But we help them through that, and we tell them, don't suffer in silence. Don't take pride and put that in front of your opportunity to get the support you need. And I tell them that, this time between 18 and 24, where you're no longer a child, but you're not fully developed into an adult yet, because, our brains are not fully developed until we're 25. And I always remind them of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I look at older folks and say, is your brain fully developed? But that's a whole another topic. But at any rate, it's important for them to see that they're worth something great, that if they're a parent, their why is, in that next room or at school, and it's counting on them to set a pace for them. It's important that we allow our young adults to fail forward. So there is corrective action without termination. And our partners help support it as well as our program. And so I think, if you hold people accountable, my God, that's the most empowering thing you can do for somebody, is to hold them accountable and provide them the support. So I tell them, this support you're getting now is probably the most intense amount of support you'll get in your adult life. And so, open your arms to it and then pay it forward, because eventually in another 5, 10, 15 years, Mr. Mayo's voice will chime in as you talk to another young adult or your child or family member or a coworker or an employee. And you'll remember some of these things have been seeded into you by this Europe experience. And so that's very valuable. So, those that display grit, and grit is something that a lot of companies are looking at now and looking in their recruitment policies. And it's not necessarily that young adult that has the 4 years of college that says that they're going to come in and do a better job. But these practices and these policies have to be looked at across companies to say, hey, we've had successful people who didn't finish college that became billionaires. What's the difference? Was it socioeconomics? Was it, this is a myriad of different issues why someone didn't finish Harvard or MIT, right? So we say these young people need to get access, and we see what we call, again, the grit inside of them. Are they epic? And epic for us stands for empowered, professional, in demand, and are they career ready? So we always looking at them in the area of epic. You're an epic individual, and it's a path. We first empower you to come in. We teach you how to dress professionally. So they wear suits and ties and business attire through the 6 months, the first 6 months. Are you internship ready? So being internship ready is key. Are you ready to embark on that next 6 months journey? And then after that are you matriculating to becoming career ready? That meaning that you are ready for the marketplace. So that's all encompassing, the epic way we train and we deliver our training and support is key and important to their success.
Yeah, and it just sounds like you're helping them up the staircase, because going from going from a high school graduate and even a college graduate to the workforce, it's a pretty big jump.
Yes.
And hey, we're going to take this at baby steps. I think that's a huge asset of the program and why y'all are so successful and why the students are so successful. All right. So how did you get into this work? I read your bio earlier, but could you just tell us a little bit about your journey and your career and how you came about here?
Well, I started my nonprofit career for a program in Boston called City Year. And it was an urban Peace Corps concept in Boston that brought young adults together, ages 17 to 24 at the time, to do human service and physical service projects all across Boston. And we worked with after school programs and we worked with urban gardens. We did all types of really cool project with the homeless and shelters, etc. And it was started to have what we consider an urban Peace Corps, where young adults could come and serve on teams of 10 diverse young adults. I had the honor of serving that organization for almost 4 years as their director of recruitment and admissions. And we grew the program from 50 young adults that came out of a summer program and up to 310 that we consistently recruited for years. And now to see that program get the support of AmeriCorps, a lot of great bipartisan support from the government, we were able to help bridge the AmeriCorps and Vista programs together. And Vista was a program that had been for older Americans and more mature Americans that could not do the Peace Corps, but you wanted to serve in your country. So to see that happen really, really galvanized me for a life of service. And then after that, I went to join Lotus, which became IBM, and I was in sales, which I loved. And it was just a great career in IT. And then I came back to my passion with Europe about 8 years ago, traveling on planes and just not feeling fulfilled. I mean, financially, it was great. It was just wonderful. I had great people I work with, etc. But it really, there was something missing. And, we know when we were born. I know my birthday, you know your birthday. We don't know when the inevitable day of that legacy date will come. But the most important thing in between those two dates is the dash. And what are we doing with that dash to make an impact that will allow you to sleep well at night, to know that you're going to wake up to something that you fundamentally love to do is empowering, man. I mean, it's not to say that I have great days every day, but, I really believe that everything in life is a privilege. And I wake up every day knowing that even if I have difficult challenges, family or finances or health or work or whatever, it's just like, wow, I have another opportunity on a blank canvas to start drawing again. And that's the wonderful thing about waking up every day and how much of a blessing it is. So, this work that I'm doing now, I see lives changed in front of me, literally. And they come back to perform service and they become mentors. And again, having an intern that's now going to be having an alumni that's now going to have an intern for the first time in 10 years supporting her team is powerful. And, it's emotional because you're like, whoa, hold up here. This person could have been in a dead end opportunity for work with no scalability, could have been in another place set up by society or a system. And no, you're here now. Of course, contributing to my Social Security, which I'm going to need in some years coming up.
Sure. Me and you both.
So I get ultimately, I'm super excited about that. But I mean, they're part of society. They're just like, it's just beautiful to see, man. I just even know. It's just hard to describe even the word. It's exhilarating. It's inspiring. It's unbelievable. It's tremendous. It's like all of these. It's just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I'm sitting here listening to you talk about it, I'm like, would you make an exception for the age limit? I might be a little too old for it,
I know.
but
I always say, what happened when I was coming up, man? I wish I had a
right.
year up, man.
Yeah.
But for our CEO Joe Chichavian, who came up with this mission based on taking a call himself to be a big brother in a Big Brothers program in New York with a young man on Lower Manhattan who changed his life. And he took this as a thesis project. And when he, to be someone who was successful in business, take that and invest it after he, the dot-com era and did well with his business, to invest that back in the year 2000 when we thought the world was going to end. Remember that Y2K?
Oh yeah.
We see this impact of almost, 20 years of service, and thousands of young people have graduated across the country and are making impact. It's amazing. And it's just a small portion of course, the population, because we know that there are 6 million disconnected young adults across this country that need opportunity or opportunity youth between those age groups, that we've done some real good work with Grads for Life and in the ad council to really talk to help companies beyond Year Up invest in these young adults. We don't own opportunity youth, but you hear it a lot, and we enjoy it. We didn't copyright it. It's the opportunity divide. It was something that morphed out of the work that we were doing. And I like the fact that we're all about empowering other organizations and companies and people to put their best foot forward. If you know better, you're going to do better. Or at least you hope that, people will do that. So to be part of that type of movement is just, it's again, it's the words can't describe the feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I love about what y'all are doing is it's obvious that you care. The mentorship, the hey, speak up, don't suffer in silence, placing people after the program is done, that is pretty unheard of. You hear about for-profit colleges all the time, which are terrible,
Mm-hmm.
but you hear about them all the time. They get your money, and then when they're done with you, they kind of just wash their hands of you. I mean, that's really cool that Europe is putting people in jobs even after the program is done
Yeah.
and they didn't get picked up by their company that they interned with.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's due to budget or restructuring of a company, but to get a great reference from a Google or a Coca-Cola or a Cox or Kaiser, I mean, it's powerful, and an Elevon. I mean, it's just amazing, to have that on your resume, to know that you had a solid reference. It's huge. So we don't require our partners to convert, but if you worked with someone for 6 months and they contributed to the bottom line of your business, it's advantageous for you to bring that person or those people into the fold, and to see that conversion rate. It's amazing to see what these young adults end up doing and going back to college, getting their degrees, buying their first home, buying their first like real car. Cause I remember, I don't know about you, but I had this old Lordy car that I prayed about would start every day. And I was living up in Boston at that time with snow. So I'm like 22, 23, knowing I have to go, use this car, man, to see them actually be able to purchase that, to see their kids in great schools, and they're growing within their careers and their passion, and then they're giving back and participating. Our alumni do such a great job coming back to speak to our students, and even within internships, they'll do a real talk conversation on expectations at this company and what we expect of you, because we paved the way for you, and you're going to do the same for others. So it's powerful to see that, and we're going to be embarking on that in a few weeks, where we'll be sending out 150 plus young adults into the marketplace, and it's amazing to see that And then we'll bring a whole new group back on, and we'll do it all over again every 6 months. It's a rotation. And here in Atlanta, we've almost graduated almost 2,000 young adults in the program and over the last 10 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool. All right. Well, Jonathan, I really respect what y'all are doing. I love the mission. I love your heart behind it. You're so enthused, and it's people like you that make the organization able to do the things that they're doing. So I find that amazing. We're running out of time, or we're getting close to the end of the interview. So, are there any final thoughts that you want to share just about success being young, or year up, or just anything that you kind of feel like you need to just kind of get out there that you haven't said yet?
Well, again, I appreciate the opportunity to share a little about myself and about Year Up. I just, for me, it's you want people to be the very best that they can be. And I think we live in a society that is so predicated by social media, where, how many friends I have that are not friends, how many how many likes I get based on a comment I make or a picture I post, which are all great. Don't get me wrong. But when we take the human touch out of living, it's a unique challenge. We talk about, this world of being high tech, but what about high touch? What about relationships? And oftentimes, as humans, we forget that relationships are key, and everyone needs help, from the very wealthy to the least of them. We all need to help each other and empower each other. My hope, and I always, people say, well, John, what's the impact you would want to have? Yeah, I would love to eradicate homelessness. I would love to stop hunger. I think in this country we have the capabilities to do so. And we need to wrap our arms around this country, all of its people, and show what God has given us. And it's the spirit of love and support. And it gives back more than money or time ever will. And I would hope that when it's time for me to hit that legacy date, that, at the end of the day, people said, Jonathan cared. He did the very best he could. He strove for excellence. I know I'm not perfect, and every day is a work in progress. And so, I just hope that more people will understand the power of giving of their time, their talent, and their treasure to someone else.
That's fantastic. There's no such thing as too much positivity, and you just proved it in that whole statement right there. So that's great. Fantastic, John. Well, thanks so much for joining us or joining me on the podcast. Before we wrap up, I do this thing called freestyle rapping.
Yes.
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my best to freestyle wrap up this interview about some of the things that we talked about. So here we go. Yo, I'm here to gear up. I'm talking about year up, a whole bunch of things you could just learn in 6-month increments. Yo, I'm just ripping with a whole bunch of people. And yo, I got bills and I got soft skills that I got to learn. How I do a handshake and a whole bunch of other things. Yo, I just bring my resume to the job interview, but it's an internship, so I guess I get placed. I show my face. It's all about attendance. Yo, I'm not pretending. I just got to be real, and I just got to suffer, but I got to tell my people that's what's going on. I spit a freestyle, and yo, I'm just flowing on songs, talking about things that are just fulfilling. Yo, I'm just drilling thoughts in my mind so I can be positive when I just rhyme. It's all about accountability. You ain't killing me. You're trying to make me better with that tough love. And that's what I say. A whole bunch of hugs, a whole bunch of things for my people now. It's all about graduation so we could go on and change people's lives and come on through. And that's what I say. Year Up Part 2. That's what you got to have in your life. I begin to write rhymes all the time. And that's what I do. People need to shine. We got to give love everywhere we go. And that's what I say. Up in the flow. It's all about support and just being epic. And that's what I say. No, we don't wreck it. We just reconcile and just be our best. And that's what I say with these words that are best. Bless. And that's what I say, never rest. Just gotta keep on going, keep on flowing off the top. And that's what I say, words I drop, spit off the top. And that's how I go, and that's what I said with a freestyle flow. All right.
Outstanding, man.
Thank you. I appreciate
unbelievable, man. You're inspiring me with bars, man. God.
that. Yeah,
Amazing.
I try. You know, as long as everybody walks away happy and nobody gets hurt, right?
Okay,
No.
that's very important, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that flow, and coming out of the city of New York, and being a DJ in a former life, man, dude.
Nice.
You're doing it, man. If I had a couple of beats, man, we're gonna have to probably take this to the streets, man.
All day and day. Let's do it. That sounds fantastic. Well, Jonathan, thank you so much for everything. Your positive energy, the information that you shared, your support for the people, the young people of this country. And so if someone were interested in Europe, what would you tell them to do? Because, okay, we've heard about this. Now, what's the process?
Okay,
What's the next
I
step?
would tell people to grab their mobile phone. You don't have to be home. And I would no,
that's great.
You go to a URL and you put in the URL, you put Europe.org, and you can click the city. Here in, of course, Atlanta, we have Great Atlanta, and you can go online and schedule an information session that we have on either Wednesdays or Saturdays, where you can come in and learn more about the program and see if it's for you. Europe is not for everyone. And so, but we do give the opportunity for young adults to explore. We have tons of videos out on the program. We have a lot of news clips, regarding 60 Minutes and CNBC and other news affiliates that have actually written and actually came in and filmed us. So I would just say do your due diligence, research, and give it a shot. If you want to change your life, it's a great opportunity to be empowered to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Yeah. Check it out. Just give it a look, everybody. Just at least go to the website, take a look, and what do you have to lose, right? That's what I tell people sometimes.
Everything to gain, man. Nothing to lose.
Absolutely. So, thank you so much for joining us, John. We look forward to just seeing more kids graduate, and hopefully some kids will come through, or hopefully some people will come through me and they'll sign on to Europe, and then they'll name their children after me, and it'll be glorious.
Yep, we would enjoy that.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks so much. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day, and just keep doing what you're doing, sir.
Oh, anytime. Thank you.
Absolutely.